What is the biggest threat right now? Is it nation states? Is it the lone wolf? What are you seeing on the horizon? I understand you don't want to talk about countries specifically, but what's the biggest worry out there?
You guys have heard a lot of threat briefings and you're scared, or you've been told to be scared plenty, and I'm not going to do that. What I will tell you though is I think there's some useful buckets in particular to use in communicating about the threats to your leadership. And let me tell you what I find useful in those conversations. I bucket the threats into vandals, burglars, thugs, spies, and saboteurs. Vandals are groups like Anonymous who are primarily trying to have a reputation impact on you. They're defacing your website, they're denial of service attacking you. It's the noise of the internet, you deal with it all the time. Burglars, they're after money. That's a fairly straightforward concept. Maybe they're after money by stealing personal information and monetizing it. Maybe they're trying to do a wire transfer, you name it, it's pretty clear what they're after. Money, you've got it, they want it. Thugs. Thugs are a little more complicated. They just want to punch you. The North Korean attack on Sony Pictures is a perfect example of that. Spies. Spies want either national secrets or your intellectual property, and they want to use it, obviously, to the advantage of their nation. And then finally, saboteurs. Saboteurs are an area that we're very concerned about because this is where a nation-state adversary or some other malicious adversary gets into our critical infrastructure and stays there and waits for a time of conflict. Now, what's important to you is the feedback cycle on these different buckets of adversaries. Vandals, burglars, and even thugs have a fairly rapid feedback cycle. Within a few months, you're going to find out if you were successfully attacked or intruded upon by one of those three groups. And so your defenses are naturally, consistently being tested, and you have a pretty good idea of where you stand with respect to a vandal, a burglar, or a thug. You do not know where you stand next to a spy or a saboteur because there's a much less refined feedback cycle. You may not know for years that you had a spy or a saboteur on your network. And so one of the key things you need to think about is if you are a target of a spy or a saboteur, is how do you create that feedback cycle? And the primary mechanisms are looking for traffic leaving your network, whether it's command and control or somebody stealing data, or working with the government, sharing threat information. And so that's what I would really encourage you to think about if you're in those two categories where a spy or a saboteur is targeting you.